Good morning. My name is Deirdre Gordon, a member of the Board of Trustees. Welcome to all of you here and to all of you who are joining us online. We're really glad to have you with us this morning. A special welcome to visitors. Please join us for coffee and conversation across the hall after the service. This community is one of hope and caring where every person matters. We aspire to live our values every day, keeping love at the center of everything we do. This is a challenging time in the world, and now more than ever, MLUC offers a safe and nurturing place. You are welcome here. Everyone is welcome here. Our worship team for today includes Reverend John Morehouse, our senior minister, Don Starr Sayers Borschelt, our Director of Learning and Family Ministries, and Tina Adams, our Worship Associate. Music today is provided by David Brown on violin and Jody Brown on piano. And now a brief announcement from Valerie Saris about the auction.
Good morning. We had a very successful and fun auction last night and all week with the silent auction. Before I give you the details, I'd like to first acknowledge and thank our amazing auctioneering team, Ron and Joanne Rose. And I want to thank the rest of our incredible auction team. Please stand up if you're here. And I want to give special thanks to Deirdre Gordon, Sue Compton, and their team for their work setting up, serving, and cleaning last night. Our wonderful bartenders, Wolfgang and Bob Batt, and everybody at MLUC who made this possible. The custodial staff, the office staff, the audiovisual team, the Board of Trustees, and of course, Reverend John. Finally, thank you, generous donors and bidders. Without these donations and enthusiastic bidders, there would be no auction. Between the record-breaking silent auction and the live auction last night, MLUC netted more than $49,000. And of course, all of the funds will support MLUC. And more importantly, there will now be 28 new community events because of the auction. Potluck dinners, special events like trivia night, a pool party, go-kart racing, bowling with the board, several lectures, fancy dinners, and more. We hope you all enjoy these community building events and that it will give us an opportunity to get to know each other better during the year and before the next year's auction. So thank you very much and enjoy. Bye-bye.
Let's give another round of applause for Valerie for her great And now, please silence your electronic devices and join me in affirming our mission. Together, we transform lives through love, service, and our welcoming faith.
Reflecting on this notion of collaborative gratitude, when it occurred to me that the most profound appreciation I think I ever experienced for another human being is in the context of a musical collaboration. It's almost like a familial love. And I'm, of course, very grateful that I do indeed get to collaborate with family like my mother, like my wife, who you get to hear sing so often. But it's almost a transcendental conversation that we're having. And so I thought that the best demonstration of one of these conversations would be Luigi Della Piccola's Tertiniana Seconda, bit of a mouthful. A music scholar who would look at this order of service and see Luigi Della Piccola's name would think, for a worship service, are you crazy? Della Piccola was a second Viennese school composer, meaning that he wrote mostly atonal music. This is not that. This is a piece based on the idiom, the compositional idiom of Giuseppe Tartini, who was a Baroque composer. This piece is in 4 movements, and in each movement, you will hear us having a distinct conversation in which we are always saying the same thing, but in a totally different way. In the first movement, for example, you're about to hear, I'm going to play something. She's going to play it verbatim backwards. And that's the accompaniment. That is the way in which we have the conversation. In the second movement, I play something, she plays it upside down, and so on and so forth. So listen closely, because we're always playing something that sounds totally different, and yet, when we come together, the music is beautiful.
When we light our chalice, everyone focuses on the flame. Yet, it is the paraffin of the candle, the cotton of the wick, the potassium chloride and sulfur of the match, and the oxygen in the air around us that makes that flame possible. We are not called to be a lone beacon on a hill. Rather, we are meant to work together so that we might together shine. Now please rise in body or in spirit as we sing hymn number 346 from the Gray Hymnal. Come sing a song with me.
Once there was, and once there was not, a family of dogs. Like many dog families, there were dogs that had wandered off the street, and dogs with fine pedigrees. Dogs from the shelter, and dogs who had been born into the family. They ran together, they played together, they tumbled together in great furry masses of paws and tails and snouts and claws. They loved each other very much. Even if sometimes they growled at one another, even if sometimes they worried about whether there were enough biscuits in the jar on the counter, or even if some dog didn't feel good and snapped at another dog, they loved each other very much. And each night, as the moon rose, the family of dogs went outside and sat in a great circle on the soft grass and watched the moon rise and looked into each other's eyes and wagged their tails. I suspect there was some butt sniffing. I don't know why they left that part out. It was a doggy thing to do. Then, when the moon rose above the horizon, the eldest dog would bay loudly at the moon. Have we got someone here who knows how to bay at the moon? And what do you think that dog was baying about? The eldest dog was telling the other dogs and the moon and the whole world what he was thankful for. He was baying, "Thank you for this day, for the running and the jumping. Thank you for the biscuits and the tasty treats. Thank you, little brown dog, for nosing the ball my way. Thanks for being able to sing. Thanks for everything." And then the youngest dog, maybe, I don't know who's in here. No, Baxter's definitely younger. Would point their nose at the moon and begin to bay. Can you howl? Ooh! And she was saying, "Thank you, wonderful sun that warmed my back. Thank you, fragrant frangipani so sweet. Thank you, pack of dogs, for wiggly dances. Thanks for the ringing ice cream truck. Thanks for this and all my luck." And then one dog after another would join in the baying, saying their thanks until they were singing together into the moon. So, and they saved the best for last, and they howled together, "Thank you, mother, and thank you, father. Thank you, sister. Thank you, brother. Thank you, neighbor. Thank you, friend. Thank you, stranger, and thank the world. We share our thanks for every being, whether near or far, no matter who, no matter where, no matter what you are. Thanks." They did this no matter what the weather, no matter how many or how few the family were, no matter how they felt. The dog family gathered together each and every night to greet the moon and share their thanks. Thank you for howling at the moon with me. Our youth are actually already at the indoor amusement park, so I invite our children to join me in the atrium and I'll get everybody sorted out.
The recipient of MLUC's November Offering Outreach, which was nominated by Virginia Kirk, is the Norristown Hospitality Center, a registered 501c nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide basic needs and social services to empower those experiencing homelessness and poverty. Today, we have the pleasure of a visit from Sarah Pinto, who is the Development and Operations Coordinator for the organization. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for having me speak today, and thank you for my introduction. Before the Norristown Hospitality Center existed, the low-income, homeless of the community, the addicts, mentally ill, former patients of the Norristown State Hospital wandered the streets. They panhandled, slept outside, asked for businesses and churches for money to pay for basic human needs: food, clothing, housing, medicine. The center began as a place for these unwanted people to gather, a safe place where they could bring their imperfect lives, their complicated problems, and receive support from persons trained to help them. We provide shelter during the day: breakfast, Monday through Friday, lockers to store their belongings, showers, a phone, a mailing address with a mail distribution, clothing, toiletries, things that we take for granted every day. We have 3 case managers who meet with our guests on the spot. No appointments are needed. They continually assess the needs of our guests so we can develop programs to better meet their needs. Our newest program is called Seeking Safety. It uses evidence-based treatments to support people using substances to move towards a safer and healthier life. So my personal favorite part of this program is that it is present-focused. It emphasizes safe coping skills rather than delving back into traumatic events. Trauma is real for every person in this room, and there is a way to move forward, but we can only move forward with support. The center also acts as a hub. We refer guests to other organizations, and they receive specialized care. Some organizations come to us, though, as well. We have a mobile recovery clinic, HIV testing, legal aid, street medicine, health screening, vaccine clinics, because it takes a village. The Norristown Hospitality Center has endured, and we've been able to support hundreds and hundreds of community members because of donors like you. Because of congregations like you, we have kept our doors open for over 30 years. And for this, I want to say a profound thank you. Your congregation has been a long-term donor, partner, supporter, and it's definitely noticed. We have one of our biggest advocacy events coming up and during Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, which is this month, on November 20th at 7 p.m., so p.m., not a.m., at night. We invite you to join us on the steps of the Montgomery County Courthouse for our annual One Night Without a Home Sleep Out. We're going to have speakers, candlelight vigil, poster making, letter writing to commissioners, and a solitary sleep out. So this is actually a really unique opportunity to sleep on the steps of the courthouse and experience what it's like, I know, right? To be without the comfort of a home, and it's just for one night. And that's why we purposely do it on a Thursday into a Friday, because you will feel it on Friday. You will feel, I have to still get up and go to work. I have my responsibilities. Did I get a good night's sleep? Probably not. Am I frostbit? On and on, right? It's one night, and people get up and they go to work the next day, and you don't even know that the person next to you is homeless. We're going to hear from center guests, create awareness, raise money for the center, and you can speak to other like-minded community members on issues in the community. You can follow us on social media, newsletter. I'm also going to be in the lobby to answer any questions if you'd like to maybe volunteer for the center. If anything you want to know, I can hopefully answer it for you. If not, get the answer for you. So your contribution is truly saving lives, and I really do appreciate your donation, both financially and spiritually. Thank you.
As you've heard, the work of the NHC aligns with UU Principles 1 and 2, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. You may give your offering with cash, follow the instructions on the screen, or use the QR code in the order of service. The offering will now be gratefully received. Will the ushers please come forward? Our congregation has a ritual we call Candles of Community. Members share joy, concern, or sorrow, and ask us to light a candle for them so that they may feel supported and loved. As we do so, we recite these words together. We hold you in our hearts. Dana Wiley lights a candle of joy. She says, "The joy of community gathering and generosity of time, talent, and treasures of last night's auction are amazing. Special thanks to Valerie Saris, Gary Gio, Ron and Joanne Rose, and the auction committee for all they did behind the scenes to make the auction possible. And to Scott Turner for always creating truly stupendous theme decorations each year, and for all those who attended, bringing their creativity and lively spirits, and those who were able to make bids to support our church in both the silent and live auctions. And our staff and board of trustees seconds that emotion. For all who helped and were here to make our 53rd auction a success, we hold you in our hearts." Dorn Star Sarah's Borschelt lights a candle of joy and celebration and congratulations to her husband, Matt Borschelt, who is turning 50 years young this coming Tuesday. For Matt, we hold you in our hearts. We hold you in our hearts, and you're still very young. Betsy McElwain would like to light a candle of remembrance for WMMR radio personality and close friend, Pierre Robert. Pierre died in his home on October 29th. For Pierre's family and the WMMR community, we hold you in our hearts. Liz and Kevin Blygan light a candle of concern for their niece Bridget, who was recently diagnosed with an aggressive breast cancer. She will receive 8 rounds of Red Devil chemo, a bilateral mastectomy, and radiation. Bridget is a young mother, still in her 30s, with 2 children under the age of 10. Her husband and his parents are on it and organizing everything she needs, but she faces a really tough road ahead. Liz and Kevin say, please hold Bridget in your hearts for a full recovery so she can return to her healthy, active self and to her amazing motherhood. For Bridget and her family, we hold you in our hearts. Travis Bilsbach-Scholl lights a candle of thanks from the entire youth group for all those who donated to their soup fundraiser last Sunday. Travis says it was a massive success and we really appreciate your support. For all those who supported the youth group and enjoyed their soup, we hold you in our hearts. Elisa Lang and Jansen Wendell light a candle of pride for their daughter Lee. Last weekend, Lee led a Starbucks union rally and was interviewed by the media in Clifton Park, New York. For Lee and her parents, we hold you in our hearts. Irene Maynard welcomes her 3rd great-grandchild, Louis Maynard, who lives in Lincoln, Maine. For Irene and the Maynard family, we hold you in our hearts. And we light a final candle for all of your joys, concerns, or sorrows that are unspoken, or just too deep for words to share, and hold you in our hearts. Our reading today is a poem by Mary Oliver called Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot, or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together. And don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks. And a silence in which another voice may speak.
Thank you to David, Jody, fabulous as always. Welcome everyone, glad you're here. This is up pretty high, Tina, wow. I feel like I'm bigger than I normally am. Anne Lamott, who here is an Anne Lamott fan? Anybody love Anne Lamott? She has wonderful little books that she writes. She's dry, humorous, Christian in the best sense of the word. She says there's basically 3 prayers that are out there. And the prayers come down to one word: help, wow, and thanks. And regardless to whom you do or do not pray, I can think of lots of reasons to use those 3 words right now, right? Every day, I send up a prayer for help. If nothing else, to help me, or help us, find a way through this present darkness. And the wow, well, the wow at how much worse it seems to get each day. And then the wow, the bigger wow, how ordinary people are stepping up to help their neighbors, to defend those who are being dragged away by masked bandits, to stand up for the persecuted. And wow to the election on Tuesday night. How about that? I mean, that was amazing. But it's the prayer of thanks. It's the prayer of thanks that I find most moving these days. It's thanks that I want to spend the rest of the month preaching about, because I think gratitude is the attitude that we need regardless of what we're going through right now. The 14th century mystic Meister Eckhart put it this way. He said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it'll be enough. But will it? Really, will it? Because while it may be that gratitude is the attitude is the antidote for what we need right now, I don't always know if we have the most effective way to do that. I've been thinking a lot about what a shift to gratitude would mean in this time of darkness, this time of the apocalypse. And the board and staff and I have been contemplating for some time what a shift would look like if we were to move from what is known as transactional ministry to a relational ministry. A lot of what we do, friends, is transactional. It just is by nature, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Someone needs something, we provide it. Food, care, worship, music. And in return, the congregation is expected to support the church in some way, right? I mean, last night's auction was a great example of supporting that. And that's good, and that's fine as far as it goes, but I don't think it goes far enough. I think what we really need is a collaboration, and I use that more technical word in its most relational sense, that somehow we will learn to be even more collaborative than we are now. So in an effort to illustrate this collaboration, this gratitude of collaboration, collaborative gratitude, I'm going to ask you to turn to your neighbor. I know this is terrifying for some of you, and I appreciate that. But you know, this is all about growing into new space and new ideas and a more deeper, meaningful spiritual life. And one of the ways we do that is we turn to our neighbors, and I'd like you to discuss quickly, if you will, the question, when were you grateful for collaboration? When were you grateful for collaboration? And we'll take just a few minutes to talk about that. Go ahead. right, let's come back together. It's a good thing you're so shy. We've got this, ushers have got mics, right? So let's hear from a few folks. When were you grateful for collaboration? Anybody want to share that? In the back. Coming.
Okay. I'm grateful for the community and my family who helps me raise my daughter. Without them, she wouldn't get the love and support that she has from her family across state lines. My mom takes her to play dates. My mom takes her to see her nephews and her nieces, or my nephew and niece, her cousins in New Jersey, and she just is surrounded by love, and she wouldn't have that without the collaboration of everybody in our lives.
Thank you. And Marilee over here. Wait. Let's get a microphone. Microphone, Marilee. Nobody can hear you online.
You hold it, I talk, all right.
That's it.
Last summer, we, for the first time, had a Jazz and Joe program in the summer. And the people who usually help me set up and help clean up had other things to do because they hadn't planned on this. And we had a bumper crowd. There was not even room enough for everybody to sit. And people from the congregation, many of you are here, helped put up extra tables, got out chairs, put out the tablecloths. And one couple helped stay till the bitter end and help me clean up. And they were all church members, so.
Thank you, Marilee. And then Judy over here. Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, you're going to, okay. I'm happy for collaboration with UU Justice PA. This is something that started years ago, and it's UU's across Pennsylvania, and we collaborate on issues. My particular issue, reproductive justice. It's been great that I've met people all over the state, and we come together to work on that issue.
Thank you. I think maybe one more. Tony over here. Oh, all the way around. No, not Tony John, sorry. There we go. Coming. Microphone. There we are.
Oh, hi. My collaboration is, I had a job that was a golden handcuff job. I was a stockbroker, and I dealt with non-ferrous metals. Very successful, but it's very empty for me. And I decided to do something that was more worthwhile, and I went and got a degree at Harvard and came back and worked with the Vice Provost's office at the University of Pennsylvania in developing a program that would help mothers primarily to matriculate, but more importantly, to graduate from college. Mm-hmm. I did that for 20 years, maybe more. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for the collaboration that I was able to forge and for the inspiration that I was able to gain from the women that I worked with.
Thank you. You know, the real work and collaboration is that it takes a lot of time, usually, and it takes relationships. I mean, many of you were talking about the relationships of your families, the relationship of people here, the relationship professionally, that actually made a difference in the world. And when we talk about, in our congregation, we talk about that we're trying to forge a shared ministry. It's not just me or any of our ministerial staff that are having to share the power, whatever that is, with all the other leaders of the church. It's creating this understanding, this foundation of relationship. My colleague Galen Genrich, who for many years has been serving as the senior minister of All Souls Unitarian Church in New York City, put it this way in a wonderful little book that he wrote several years ago called The Way of Gratitude. He said people want two things. He said they want to be free and they want to belong. They want to be free and they want to belong. And most people think that they have to be free before they can belong. But in reality, it's the opposite way. You really need to belong before you can really be free to be who you are, and the safety of an organization or a group of people or a family that helps you belong. And it's in the belonging, which is another word for collaboration, that actually frees us to be who we are, frees us to not be alone, frees us to be in connection and community with one another. As David and Jody have been showing us playing the music, it's best understood sometimes in the context of a score, in the context of all the other things that are happening around that music, often around other instruments. And of course, the violin sounds beautiful by itself, the piano sounds beautiful by itself, but sometimes there's a music that's made from the two that simply could not be the same as the sum of its parts. And those of us who sing, of course, know nothing like more voices to sound better, right? But there's plenty of folks, maybe you're one of them, I know I am, that's why you don't hear me sing very much, who's a little off-key at times. And it's wonderful, wonderful to have somebody next to you who's not off-key, who's helping you along and helping us along in that sense that it's all part of the same. And I would say that by extension, belonging to a community like this one gives us the freedom to create a meaning in this time that we would not get any other way, right? In the last 2 weeks, friends, we've had 12 new people join this church. 12. And we'll have a more formal opportunity to welcome them a little later on, because there's a few more who are joining next week. But what I want you to know is that when we were talking to them in the classes that we've had over the years, in this last class, the starting point curriculum, which is something we do to begin the journey towards membership, what I heard over and over again was the gratitude they were expressing to belonging to a place like this, which of course most people say, where were you all my life, right? You're the best kept secret in town religiously, maybe. But more important than that even, it's a sense of belonging that is going to help them grow. Bettering our lives through belonging to one another, to collaborating with one another, is actually really the glue that holds us together. It's the miracle that makes us who we are. Peter Mayer sings, Moses split the sea in two and Jesus made the water wine, and I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still. And now I can't keep track because everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that there's anything here at all. It's the real miracle, friends. The real miracle is that we came out of nothing but empty space, dark matter, and stardust. The fact that you sit here at all is really a miracle. And that we sit here together makes it even a bigger miracle, because I think that's really where the freedom comes in. This is the freedom, friends, that comes from belonging. That sometimes folks think about religion, they think, well, it's not a very free thing, I don't know about that. I like to be spiritual but not religious. But what I often say, friends, is that spiritual but not religious is it's like far enough, but maybe not. Maybe you can do more, because I say that religion, when practiced well, and when practiced faithfully, and when practiced with good intention, without all the dogma and all the heavy shame and guilt, that kind of religion is spirituality with a form. And the form allows you to become more spiritual. And with due respect to Janis Joplin, freedom is not just another word for nothing left to lose, right? Freedom requires a direction. Freedom requires an openness to that spirituality, that courage to take the journey further than you will before. The courage it took some of you to actually turn to someone you have never met before and talk about gratitude, right? And I know that because we belong to one another, and because from that belonging we become more together, that we will grow more together in the years put. Galen says that gratitude is the leading indicator of spirituality. Gratitude is the leading indicator of spirituality, and I think spirituality is the leading indicator of what it means to belong. So it's not like you belong and then become spiritual. You are spiritual and then you belong. And I think by the belonging, you become more spiritual. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in the business of saying that. I'm saying that because I think it's true. It's very important to understand that sometimes the water we swim in is water we don't always see, right? We don't always know what we're living with. We don't always appreciate the fact that we belong to communities like this one. Henry David Wallace, the late, great, brilliant poet, told this now famous joke at the graduation address to Kenyon College many years ago. He said, an old fish is swimming past two young fish, and the old fish says, "Hi, fellas, how's the water?" And a little later, the one young fish turns to the other young fish and says, "What the hell is water?" The water is our collaboration. The water is our community. This space is our community. But beyond this space, I've seen you reach out to people during the course of the week, as I know has been happening, for those people who really need another person. The small groups, the way we connect with one another, the phone calls. It binds us together in a way that perhaps we don't always appreciate. See, freedom isn't just taking care of yourself. In fact, I think that's a small freedom. I think the bigger freedom is taking care of one another. Can you hear me? That's why we have to collaborate with gratitude, because everything quantum physics teaches us, everything is related to everything else. In theology, that's known as process theology. Process theology is the idea that the holy, the divine, God, whatever you want to call that, is co-created with us. We are creating it. It's about the possibilities of everything. It's an experience of the possible. That's, for me, as close as I can get to God. And when I'm looking for that evidence of the possible, I look in two places. I look among you and the communities I belong to, and I look to nature. And I'm a transcendentalist in that sense, that I believe that nature actually holds some of the key to us understanding how everything fits together, because nature has to work together, right? Or it doesn't work. A tree does not curse the wind that breaks it, it deepens its roots. The river does not rage against the rock, it learns to carve around it. Nature transforms resistance into movement. Community transforms stubbornness and hurt and anger into something better. It turns obstacle into form. Movement is what we're doing here. We are relationally connected, and as such, we are in gratitude to one another because we are actually here at all. You see, friends, we are contingent beings. Oh, we're so contingent. Life is so fragile, always there, just on the edge. We rely on everything and everyone else to actually do just about everything else. There was a famous paper that was done some time ago, talked about a pencil. A pencil, wood, lead, little metal, little eraser on the top. But it takes entire industries to make that pencil. Or when you eat. Yes, food out of the garden. But anytime you go shopping for anything at all, there are industries and communities of people that are bringing this to you. It's why I always say when I offer a blessing at a meal, I say thank you to the hands of those known and unknown who have brought this food to us, right? No one actually feeds themselves alone. There's a loud knock at the door. The man rolls over, looks at his clock. It's 3 a.m. I'm not getting out of bed, he says. Nope, not going to do it. Louder, boom, 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 boom. Are you going to answer that, says his wife. So he drags himself out of bed. He goes downstairs. He opens the door, and there's a man standing there. And it doesn't take long for the homeowner to realize that the man is drunk. Hi there, says the stranger. Can you give me a push? No, get lost. It's 3 a.m. And he slams the door and he goes back to bed. Tells his wife what happened, and she says, Dave, that wasn't very nice of you. Remember that night when we broke down in the pouring rain on the way to pick up the kids from the babysitter, and you had to knock on the man's house and he helped us get it started again? What would have happened if he told us to get lost? But the guy was drunk, he says. It doesn't matter, she says. He needs our help, and it would be the Christian thing to do. So he gets out of bed again, gets dressed, goes downstairs, opens the door, and he can't see the stranger anywhere. And he shouts, "Hey, do you still need a push?" And he hears the voice cry out, "Yeah, please." He still can't see the stranger, and he says, "Where are you?" And the stranger says, "I'm over here on your swing." So what if he's on the swing, right? Don't we all need a little push? A little joy sometimes? So here's your spiritual assignment for the week. Go find a swing with someone you love and tell them, "I need a push," right? Or push your car out of the ditch. But the swing is better. I am incredibly grateful for all those who've pushed me out of the snow of my despair over the years towards the open sky of delight, the family and friends, and I guess now probably 1,000 or more congregants who have given me a push right when I didn't think I could do it. I'm grateful for them. I hope you're grateful for those who give you the push. Because, friends, not any one politician, but the 1,000 acts of mutual concern are what will liberate us. Do you hear me on this? This is very important. It's not about the individual politician. They might represent something, good or bad, but it's about all of us together. It's about regular people. It's about us, the mutual concern that liberates us from the prisons of our own self-pity to the revolution that we're going to need. I think I assumed for a good deal of time that we would be able to achieve a life-sustaining society without the collapse of the global economy, right? I'm not so sure. And I don't say that in despair, because it's true that the depth and the breadth of the destruction, the breakdown which now certainly seems inevitable, may be what is necessary for the emergence of a new order. The great turning, this has been called for years now, I think will be more important to us as individuals and collectively as a community, not only because it'll give us a light at the end of the tunnel, which isn't the approaching train, and give us some skills and tools for nourishing the spirit, for the ingenuity, for the determination, for the collaboration that will help us move in new ways. And we start right away. We start right away because it's the immediate communities, those who are here and in other communities where we are living through what's known as rough weather networks. Living rough is how it's called to those who are unhoused. It strengthens our capacity because we do have those means. More importantly, it helps us become one. And the idea of sleeping on the City Hall steps is quite powerful. And I think that the earth, Gaia, whatever you want to call her, will need us to actually learn how to collaborate as thousands, millions, billions of communities. And that will lead us to the state of utter gratitude. It's so great a privilege, I think, in the midst of the apocalypse to be here on this earth right now. I've had the good fortune to drink from great streams of thought through my career, the Buddhist Dharma, the best of Christian theology, systems thinking, deep ecology, and now I have learned in the last 15 years or so to really embrace process theology. I think all of this is what makes us collaborative, friends. This is the spirit world we're in. I close with a story. It's a story of grace. It happened a long time ago, so it may be more apocryphal than factual, but like all good stories, if it isn't true, it should be. And it made me think of the Norristown Hospitality Center. I was volunteering in a place like that in South Bend, Indiana, in my first ministry. And while working there, I noticed a woman who would go around with a thermos and fill empty coffee cups. I asked if people knew who she was, and they said, oh yeah, that's Mabel. You should go talk to her. So I sat down with Mabel. She had a chair right by the coffee urns. And I said, hey, Mabel, I'm John. And folks here tell me you have a story. Would you mind sharing it? And she smiled and she said, my life has not been easy. My husband left me when my children were small. I spent 4 decades working as a grocery store cashier. And now I'm retired, my hands shake and my knees ache. But despite this, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. I come here to the center, not for a meal or company, but for empty coffee cups. The center closes at 10, it opens at 8. I offer them here, as the center does, warm sanctuary for all those who are in these different walks of life, many of them unhoused, retirees as well, single mothers, people down and out. She said, I noticed a heartbreaking problem. No one ever refilled their cups. You'd have to go back to the coffee urn to refill your cup. So they have this half-full cold cup of coffee, and they drink it and they look at the empty space in the cup. And she said, it was just so depressing, I couldn't do that anymore. So I brought my thermos, and I filled up the thermos with the coffee, and I went around and I would say, here you go, dear. And I would say, full up. And initially, people were kind of hesitant. They were like, oh, no, I'm fine. I don't need any more coffee. And maybe they didn't need any more coffee. I don't know. And one day, she said, there was a man who looked a lot older than what I estimated to be maybe 50 years of age. And he took the thermos himself and filled his coffee, but I could see his hands were shaking. He looked up at me and said, you're the first person to look at me all week. That happens here, by the way. That happens here. Sometimes people will tell me that's the first handshake or the first hug I've gotten in a long time. And he broke down and there were tears falling into his cup and he said, I've been fired and my wife left me, our relationship wasn't working anyway, and I've been sleeping in my car for 3 months. And I come here whenever this is open just so I can feel human again. He said, but today you made me feel seen. I couldn't fix his life, she said. I couldn't give him money. I simply filled the cup. And so now that's what I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I have this seat by the coffee station, and sometimes I brought in store-bought cookies. Last month, a pale 22-year-old woman sat down. She quickly finished her cup, and I poured her a second. She finished that. I poured her a third. She said, I lost my baby last night, and I didn't want to be alone. I held her hand. And she came back the next week, and the next week, and now she volunteers filling other people's cups. The truth, Mabel said, is it isn't about the coffee, it's about the empty cup. It's about seeing the person behind it. And just this last week, a man left a note on my chair, and he said, you don't know me, but you filled my cup when I was about to give up. And today I got a job, and I bought this new thermos for you. Fill more cups. And in the bag was a brand new thermos and $20 for the coffee. Here's the simple truth, she said. You don't need money to change a life. You don't need a grand plan or youth or strength. You only need to notice the empty cup and pour. I'm 79, my hands shake, but I show up because the world needs more fillers than takers. Here's to the fillers, my friends, one and all, for they and we are the key to our salvation. So may it be. I will say that in the Puritan tradition, of which we hail from, by the way, clapping after the sermon is really not necessary. But we're a happy, clappy bunch, so, carry on. Thank you. David's going to introduce this closing hymn for us, and I'll let him talk.
We're going to sing the hymn that I composed for our partner church in Varflava in the spirit of collaboration. It's called Hajnal Csillag, which is Hungarian for Morning Star, but don't worry, we are singing entirely in English.
can you feel how you find your way? Is a lesson forever I mind. And may all of my outlook I share with you be a light in the darkness inclined. Though countless miles divide our paths, partings bittersweet, our memories so countless will shine until we next shall meet. And whenever we sing of the morning star, we will notice your presence in song. Let's rejoice as we celebrate partnership, for together we'll be before long.
May we notice what is quietly good, friends. May we give thanks for all that is our souls. And may we stay rooted in the sacred space of our hearts and this community when the wind swirls around us. For now, the service truly begins. Please be seated for the postlude.